Hey everyone and welcome to another Warframe video. So tonight is Christmas Eve and I've decided to go back and take a look at, a second look at a frame that I checked out a couple of days ago, and that is obviously the newest frame, and that is Baruuk. Now during that video I actually made a bit of a comment. I said that Baruuk was kind of a squishy frame. So that comment was kind of one of those that it wasn't wrong. The build that I went with, which was focusing on maximizing his abilities and maximizing his sort of team potential, it did make him squishy. It basically meant that the charges of his 3, which is his main source of damage reduction, disappeared very, very quickly because they had really large range on them, so they would disarm very, very often. And because it wasn't power strength heavy, I wasn't really getting many charges either. So it just meant that I was recasting a lot, and with the drain of the 1 as well, it really, it was a very squishy build. It's an incredible team support build. Like, honestly, I still stand by the build. I still say it's the best team support build. However, the comment about him being not tanky meant that I had a really fantastic comment from PlasmicKnight, who mentioned using Baruuk with a 300% power strength build, and that's actually what I'm doing here. So, yeah, now I've gone back. I've completely reformed him. I put another like 3-former on. I'll flash the build up in the description. I'll flash the build up at the bottom of the screen now. I don't want to spend too long talking about it. It's basically just a lot of power strength, neutral range, A little bit of a reduction in the duration, nothing too crazy. I still want to use his 2 occasionally for like heavier targets at higher level, but it really is focusing around survivability and power strength. Now, his 3 basically works by, as you can see, each of these is an individual charge, and as long as you've got 1, you've got 90% damage resistance. So I've got 24 charges with high power strength. And so that means 24 enemies will have to be disarmed before I would actually lose my damage reduction, which is really nice, and it gives me a very long time to get the energy back up to recast it. And honestly, it's made him fantastically tanky. The damage reduction works not only on the health, but also on the shields. And then when you combine that with adaptation as well, you now have damage reduction on the shields from adaptation, as well as the 90% from the 3. So you've got the adaptation damage resistance, you've got the damage resistance from his 4, you've got the, it's basically lots of damage resistance stacked on top of each other. And what it actually does is it makes Baruuk incredibly tanky. Like, he is so hard to kill. It's absolutely brilliant. So it's actually kind of made him one of the strongest tanks in the game, and honestly, the whole avoiding combat thing that Baruuk has, like, you don't have to avoid combat anymore. You can just face tank everything and just go ham with your weapons if you want to. I'm having, like, now I've realized this, he actually suits my playstyle way more. Like, I'm not a player that likes the slow, careful, methodical play that Baruuk kind of needs for his for that sort of team support build to work. However, this build, oh yeah, I am so glad that that Plasmic actually mentioned this build, because I am having a blast with it. Yeah, damage reduction up the wazoo. It is so good, and as you can see, like, I am super tanky. Like, I'm just face tanking everything right now. There's a lot. This is a lot of damage, like, coming in here. There's flamethrowers, there's Grenier as well, so there's slash procs everywhere. There's a lot of like Eximus units too, and it's just allowing me to not care about, like, yeah, it's not. I'm not caring. I'm just like straight up fighting. Let's cast, and then like his 4 also does a really good amount of damage as well. Like, so look at this. Like, these are level what, 70 something, 67 on the Hayeka Masters, and you can just kill super easily even with this going. Like, even against like heavily armored units, like this build that puts out not only means that you are stupidly tanky, but it also puts out a silly amount of damage as well. Like, it is super, super good. So I really wanted to add this in here because I know there are a lot of people that like really, really tanky frames. Like, you know, myself, I play a lot with, like, Inaros. I love my Inaros, my super tanked, unkillable Inaros. I absolutely love him. So, the idea of a really, really crazily tanked Baruuk also really appeals to me as well. And, honestly, I'm having so much fun with him. Like, he is so good. Like, the only downside I would say to him is against the Infested, because while ranged units you can sort of control your distances, against the Infested you can't really do that. However, against the Infested, his 4 absolutely kicks ass, like even up to like silly levels. So yeah, he is a very look at that. Like, the killing going on right now from his 4 is, yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I still stand by that team support build that I showed the other day. Like, as a team support build, I think that is still the best sort of build for, like, a combined use of all his abilities. However, if you want a tank build, then I think that this one is absolutely the way to go. Feel free to let me know what you think about the builds in the comments below. And if you think that, like, which one of these do you actually prefer? Do you prefer the slow, methodical, avoiding combat of the first build, or do you prefer just being able to face tank everything in the entire world with the second build, this tank build? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. I hope you all have an absolutely incredible holiday, and I shall see you in the next video. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye. On second thoughts, I think I'm going to really quickly talk about the build. Corrosive Projection as an aura, fantastic for working with your team. Handspring in here is only a rank 8 because basically, or a rank 3, sorry, because basically I need the extra room. I've got Streamline to sort of counteract the fact that I've got Blind Rage. Power Strength wise, Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Umbral Intensify, which is going to give us really good power strength. Prime Flow, which is going to help with our energy max, and then you combine that with Hunter Adrenaline. Hunter Adrenaline is going to turn the health damage that we take into energy, so that's really, really nice. Umbral Vitality to increase that health, and then Adaptation to give you that extra damage resistance on your shields and on your health. You've also got here 2 Arcanes, Arcane Grace, which is going to give you health regen on taking damage, and Arcane Guardian, which means that when you get hit, you get extra armor. So, hopefully that is going to help you with your build. Lots of former went into this one, but I hope this can help. Now it really is the end of the video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.